Alright guys, right off the bat, I got some good news and some bad news for you. The bad news is that in the second trailer for the game, there's still no sign of Leon Kennedy. The good news is that in the second trailer, there's still no sign of Chris Redfield. I honestly don't think this second trailer was even a real trailer. I mean, as a content creator who does gaming videos and editing and all that stuff, I can tell that this trailer was just a few clips from Elisa's death scene that Capcom chopped up, stitched together, and threw at Jeff Keighley to have something to show at Gamescom. They just needed to get the event's quality up to at least average. Someone sitting on the bed with their shoes on, I did that once, and my mom literally showed me why it makes no sense.
Anne?
Hi, Mom.
You have been on that thing all day.
But you just got here. How do you know Grace has been on this all day?
It's really coming down hard.
Mom, phone. Mom.
It's right beside you.
Hello?
Miss Ashcroft?
Yes.
A quick thought, Elisa talks here as if she knows a bunch of people are after them. If I were her, knowing that, I'd answer the phone myself instead of asking Grace to do it. The voice that asked for Grace's last name and then hung up could have been a familiar voice for Elisa. But wow, the Resident Evil community is insane. One person says the guy on the phone was Liam, another says no, it was Chris, another says Carlos, another says Krauser, another says Aswell Spencer, and someone else says Albert Weskier. And someone even says it was Kevin from Outbreak. What's wrong with you guys? Maybe the guy was just a prank caller. I've done that a few times myself. It's a lot of fun. I guess to figure out the answer to that question, you should have just answered the phone yourself.
Who was it?
Dunno. They asked for Miss Ashcroft and then they hung up on me.
Rude.
What the?
They're coming.
Here, Elisa says, they're coming, using a plural form, but later, we only see one person who comes and attacks them, the mysterious masked man. So why does Elisa say they're coming and not someone is coming? That's a question for me. Based on the dialogue and Grace's reaction in this scene, you can guess that Grace has no idea what's going on and doesn't know her life is in danger. One question, why didn't Elisa tell her about this super important and critical issue? Knowing your life is in danger is scary, but being scared without knowing what the hell is going on is even worse. I don't know the full story of the game, but with the information I have so far, I think Elisa made a mistake by not telling Grace the truth, especially when before she's attacked, she tells Grace she'll explain everything to her one day. Also, at the beginning of the trailer, Grace was alone in the hotel until Elisa showed up from work, so you know a bunch of people are after you. You bring your own daughter with you to a hotel, and you even leave her alone all day without her knowing what's happening. I don't know about you guys, but if some bio creature was chasing me, there's no way I'm leaving my laptop behind, like, kill me if you want. But if that thing opens my folders, my reputation's dead anyway. Also, can we talk about this hotel for a sec? Why is it completely empty, like the only guests are Elisa and Grace? Power goes out, still no one comes out of their rooms. No staff, no random tourists screaming in the hallway. But ain't no way Elisa and Grace rented out the whole damn place. Here, Elisa pulls a gun out of her bag, which shows things are getting serious. Even though Grace doesn't know anything, she's not surprised, she's not scared. She doesn't ask, why did you pull out a gun? Even though we saw earlier that she's totally clueless.
Oh, who's that? Oh, I'm so sorry about the power outage.
The hotel manager was here 1 second, and the next he was somewhere else. When I say someone edited this trailer badly, I mean it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I should have it fixed soon. I just need to find my...
You want to hear one of this dude's powers? He can teleport, because 1 second ago, nobody was here, and then this guy just popped up and killed this poor guy. But seriously, I got a feeling this dude finds people by sound, because with that hat covering his face, I don't think he can see anyone. Another theory I have for you is that this guy is a descendant of the assassins, and this other one is a Templar, which is why he assassinated him right here. Grace is totally crapping herself, which, considering how scary this game is probably what's going to happen to all of us. So before you start your own adventure, don't forget your diapers and depend pads.
And out. Breathe in. And out. Oh, Grace. I promise you, I will explain this all to you one of these days.
Yeah, when people explain everything to you, you can find that info on my tombstone. If someone's really chasing us and trying to kill us, why aren't we running away instead of flirting? And why doesn't Elisa have her gun ready to defend herself?
For it later, Grace.
Elisa was just looking in the direction that a person or thing attacked her from. The thing that attacked Alyssa in this scene could only be behind her if it teleported and appeared behind her in 1 second. And I'm not a fan of zombies and monsters that can teleport. Someone, who is definitely not the monster, hung Grace up here and is after her blood, then just left her alone in a clinic with a cannibalistic stalker monster. What if that tyrant we saw in the demo is actually taking orders from the guy who needs Grace's blood? It wouldn't be the first time we've seen stalkers or tyrants follow specific commands in this series. I'm still not sold on how Grace freed her hand with that broken glass, and since the game doesn't show the whole thing, I'm even less convinced. Grace rips the blood transfusion needle out of her vein, and in the very next scene, there's zero sign of blood or a needle mark on her arm. This is a classic move in games and movies where the hero is tied to a chair or bed and has to escape. It's not quite a full-blown cliché yet, but it's getting there. This isn't about things that don't make sense. I just forgot to mention it in my trailer breakdown.
What is it doing?
Grace clearly mentions here that a guy kidnapped her and did this to her, but which guy exactly? The first-person camera from Resident Evil 7 is still a huge influence on the series, so much so that the fan debate over camera angles forced the developers to use both. Why is the mirror reflection in 144p? I really hope it's just a dirty mirror and not some kind of technical issue. Glass bottles for distracting enemies, that's a video game cliché that's been around for years. Capcom is a little late to the party on that one. And the locked doors in Resident Evil games, it's a series signature, but it's getting old. Anytime you find a door in an RE game, there's a 75% chance it's locked and you need a key. The cliché of finding a fuse to open a door, we saw that in Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, one of the remakes, and a ton of other games. How is a contaminated corpse standing upright behind a door, only to fall on Grace when it opened? It's not a closet, the jump scare just doesn't make any sense. How did you figure out it was dead? It's not clear at all that it's a corpse. You must be an FBI profiler to have figured that out. As far as I know, this stalker is said to be blind and finds you by sound. So if it's blind, how did it reach out and grab this corpse as if it could see it? This stalker is genuinely terrifying and cool, I'll admit that, but even if it's not actually Lisa Trevor, it looks exactly like her, with the same style and even the chains that were attached to her. So I hope it really is Lisa, because that would make sense story-wise. Lisa is also connected to the events of Raccoon City and the Spencer Mansion, plus her death was never officially confirmed in the series. In previous games, it was always a question why tyrants wouldn't enter save rooms or safe rooms, and it just didn't make sense. But now in this demo, Capcom has created a logical reason for it. The game's tyrant is sensitive to light and won't follow you into some rooms. Why doesn't our character manually open doors and drawers on next-gen consoles? In games like The Last of Us and even in the Silent Hill 2 remake, James did this, and I don't think creating the animation would be a big deal for Capcom. I hope they do it in the final game because even though these details might not be important, they make the game feel more realistic. These lighters usually run on fuel, not gas, and they turn off pretty quickly if they're constantly lit. At the very least, you can't use them infinitely. This monster grabs Grace, takes a bite out of her, and then lets her go after it realizes she doesn't have all its favorite ingredients. That's the only thing I could think of because it should have killed her instead of letting her go, and then chasing her again. I have this same problem with previous stalkers. In my opinion, when a stalker actually reaches you, the only thing it should do is kill you, which is exactly what the Xenomorph did in the game Alien Isolation, and it really worked.